This woman writes, went on a first. Okay. Oh, actually, she writes, I don't like him, but he's nice. Yeah, and that's a prime, prime environment for her putting him in friend zone, and then him not really knowing what to do. So he agrees to friend zone, and then basically closes off all his other options with women who are actually interested in the meantime, she gets the benefit of having somebody that like maybe does favors for her or just like an emotional support, someone to talk to. And he's thinking, oh, it means that because she's reaching out to me to talk about her problems or get through this thing, or she's asking me for help, that means that she's becoming like, not necessarily relying on me, but she's like displaying interest in me. And he's taking these as signs of her interest, and he thinks he can basically like grow this up so that it's like um eventually he can date her, and he thinks he's making progress by being in the friend zone. And the reality of the situation is just like she's really just using him. I mean, really, I mean, maybe she does consider him a friend or something, but it's like if he thinks that this friend zone is going to progress, it's like that's not even on her radar in a lot of cases. And so it's like it's really not something you want to agree to. You don't want to agree to be in friend zone when you want more than friend zone. She writes, went on a first date with this guy. He's 23, she's 20. I met on Tinder. We would text every day or so. So that's probably not the best strategy, texting every day. I'm not a fan of that. And because it's like I've experienced it not working, and I've seen so many times it not working because it eliminates that anticipation in a lot of cases. It just kind of makes things not as exciting when you do see each other in person. It's like that anticipation factor isn't always there. What you're also doing is you're communicating basically where you stand. So if you're texting her every day, it's like you create that environment of complete certainty. There's not that uncertainty, and relationships have a lot to do with the both of those. Uncertainty really creates that excitement and that desire, whereas certainty is more of like, think of like a family based environment where family life kind of thrives, but you need both of those, the uncertainty and certainty, to really succeed in a relationship. And especially in the dating, it's like, well, you really need that uncertainty, that suspense, that desire, especially early on. And so it's like texting every day just eliminates that. And so I would basically advise against texting every day, and I would just initiate contact if you're the masculine guy in this position, or you're the masculine role in this relationship. It's like, well, have an outcome each time you reach out. So whether that outcome be setting a date or getting some kind of information, but if you're just texting her every day for the purpose of validation, oftentimes that can be communicated as exactly that, you needing that validation of her liking you because ultimately you're afraid of losing her. Just be careful on texting every single day. Even then, I didn't really like him in that way. And so what did she do? Even though she didn't like him, she went on a date, free dinner. I get out of the house, I have a fun time, even though I'm not really romantically interested in this guy. But that's not really a fair thing to do to him because he is. He is romantically interested, and even though you're not, and so you're kind of just leading this guy on and just basically building up this thing where you just basically drop him off a cliff. It says that's not really cool for you to do that, for you to go on dates with guys that you're not interested in. On the date, we had a really fun time, and I enjoyed talking to him. He's very mature, and I can tell he likes me, but I didn't see him in a sexual way at all. There are certain things I look for in a guy, like his voice, his hands, his hair. He just didn't tick that for me. Okay, so not everyone's going to be attracted to you, and you have to recognize that and walk away from women like that. And so that's why it's like you don't want to continue dating women that have a low level of interest in you, because like ultimately this is an example of it. What is she doing? She's basically just going along, and he's spending a bunch of money and time and effort and emotional energy on this woman, and she's just like has no interest and has no intention of actually taking it further, but she's still going along with it. So it's like it's kind of bullshit, really. So you have to recognize those situations and walk on and find somebody who does have a high level of interest in you. I guess what I'm asking from all this is, am I being shallow for not liking him physically? No, I don't think you're shallow for not liking him physically, but I think you are displaying in these actions. I'm not labeling you as shallow, but I'm labeling what you're doing right now as shallow. as far as agreeing to go on dates with this guy when you know that you have no interest in him. Because I did enjoy his company. Yeah, you're still leading him on. Is it too early for these feelings to come? I'd say, I mean, if he doesn't meet your criteria for somebody you want to date, it's like, don't go on dates with him. Um, just don't lead the guy on. It's just kind of a low integrity thing to do. And so again, it just, with this one, it really emphasizes the importance of one, identifying a woman's attraction to you if it's there and you can feel that, and she's really does feel like she's really interested in you as a person and has a high level of interest in you, and you have a high level of interest in her. Then you ask those women on dates if they are kind of on the fence, or you kind of pick up on things where she's not like totally into it, and you think that, oh, I just have to get her on a date, then I'll raise her attraction. It's so much more difficult than just initially picking someone who has a high level of interest in you. Because you don't want to be put in situations like this where, in one, you're basically closing the door to everyone else that might be interested in you, and you're basically putting all your energy into this woman, and she's just rejecting you, or she has no basically intent of taking this further. Then you're just wasting a bunch of time, and then also it plays a lot on your confidence if, like, you go on a bunch of dates with this woman and think you're actually making progress, and then she totally shuts you down every single time when you might be doing everything right, but it's just like you don't check the boxes, in her words, on what meets her criteria. So it's like you're just in a losing battle, even if you're doing everything right. So don't put yourself in these situations, and learn how to recognize that. And that's why I cover a lot of these concepts in those products that you can get. And I think it can really help you.